Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dynamis Learning and our Facebook Lives. We are coming on again. I haven't been on in a while, but earlier this week we did college planning and essay writing. We talked about that with one of my tutors. And today I have Erica joining me. She's also one of my tutors. And welcome, first of all, Erica.
Thanks.
I should
Good
say
to be
good
back.
evening.
Mhm. Yep.
So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Helen Panos. Dynamis Learning is a K through 12 tutoring, SAT, ACT prep company and advocacy. We do college essay writing and college application assistance, and we have also added in the last year what's called course selection, academic planning, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Because
Mhm.
really, nobody's doing it. Is that right, Erica?
You're absolutely right, Helen. The at a lot of the high schools or even the middle schools, when they start picking their courses for the next year, when it comes to core content, they just get recommended for whatever the next thing is in the sequence. So English, math, social studies, science. Pardon me. And there's a grid based on your grade at the end of first semester. Notice I said first semester, fall grades, end of grades in December. And a certain test average.
Mm-hmm.
So majors, summative assessments, whatever your district calls it, that determines what we are recommended to put your student in.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the districts really hold us to that. A lot of the schools really hold us to that because they're trying to set up kids in a position where they are able to be successful. And do we want to challenge kids with honors and AP courses? Absolutely. Or tag courses or things that provide that extra enrichment? Of course. But we want them to be in a position where they feel like they're really successful. Or if they need extra support, so that they're able to get them based on the structure of the course.
I know.
So,
Yeah. So talk about a little bit briefly about who it can help. Grade
believe it
levels.
or not, we have to start talking about this early. It really impacts high schools when they have more choices of what they can take, and depending on the schedule that the high school uses, some schools teach 6 classes a day. Some schools teach 7. Some schools teach 8, just
Mm-hmm.
depending on over the course of a year. Some, not necessarily 8 in one day. But all of that affects high school, but where students are in middle school sets them up for a track for what they can take in high school. So starting these course selections, academic plans, which are very fluid documents, early is important so that your kids can start having the conversation of, oh, I really like math and science. I might want to apply to a magnet program, a really advanced program one day. Or I really like theater, but I'm not that good at math. What can I do? And having these conversations. Are they getting in the type of classes in middle school that are going to set them up to explore these, potential career avenues in high school to then set them up for whatever that post secondary success is going to look like? And like I said, these are fluid documents, so we can adjust them year by year as interests change, because we know kids do that. And we can go from there. An initial session takes us about an hour. We give you some stuff to fill out and we analyze it together. We talk about their grades, we talk about their interests, and we really build a document that sets the kid up for success. I did one recently for an 8th grader. And as we were getting to higher and higher level courses in high school, because the kid was on a, above average to advanced track kind of thing here at the end of middle school, it was the parents look at the load of courses and they're like, wow, that's a lot of AP courses as a junior and senior. I don't know if he's going to be able to balance that. Okay, so we know in 2 years we need to revisit this because course selection is happening right now. It's March.
Mm-hmm.
High schools and middle schools, at least in the metro Atlanta area, have been working on building next year's school schedule since the beginning of February. And I got an email this evening. It's funny how life does that. And the school I work at is going okay. We are actually pausing tomorrow for 15 or 20 minutes, and the kids are making their final selections.
Mm.
What is this going to look like? Trying to hope that schedule changes don't have to happen. Do they have to happen sometimes in the first 10 days of school? Of course. A kid finds out, hey, I'm not AP material. This is going way too fast. I need to back down to honors.
Mm-hmm.
Or on level was too easy. Let's bump up to honors. Or honors was too easy. Let's bump up to AP. They've got some options like that when they try it within the first couple of weeks. But after that first 10 days in August, your kid's locked into that course for that year. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
build a path that sets them up, but it also helps them set up and reach their future goals while being successful in what they're truly interested in and being ready for. Does it mean that every kid needs to take all honors, an entire slate of AP classes or honors classes? Of course not. There needs to be some balance. Let it be do the honors and the AP and the things they're really interested in. Do they have to do it in the others? Not necessarily. And if they're going to do core academic APs, what are you going to do to balance it out so they've got some semblance of normalcy and time to take a breath?
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because, yeah, of course, planning from sixth grade, we've done a sixth grader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recall that one, Erica, where you sat down, you did it, and you asked me, you're going over to tutor him, right? And I said, yes. And so we weren't sure exactly what was happening, but the child
We
was
were
in
pretty
on
sure
level.
the kid was misplaced,
Yeah,
and
he
because
was on
his
on
grades looked
level,
great, and we
right?
found out that what isn't he testing in for tag and
Oh
getting
yeah, I
bumped up
think
to
he's
an
definitely
advanced
after
classes?
I've given him some practice tests and I had a conversation with the mom about well, your child's pretty gifted actually and he should be in the gifted classes, but what was happening is well, there's some other things like ADHD was interfering with that. But he's definitely I think once the child is kind of I'll call it coached to understand the importance of these tests, even if they're ADHD or whatever, then they, I think, will approach it differently. But kids that
Right.
are just said, hey, you're going to take these tests and, go in there and take them, they're just like, okay. So I think by, him forming a relationship with me as well and me really encouraging him that he can do this, even if he's not medicated for ADHD or the ADHD may be keeping him from being able to take a COGAT, which takes 3 hours in middle school. I was just wanting him to get through the first part because I'm pretty sure he could do very well on all three sections of the test. Now, whether his stamina would hold up that long is another story. But if he could hold up for one section, he could still make the program. And that's what I talked to him about. So where are teachers or any gifted lead person or anybody like that going to talk to a child about that, Erica?
They're not. They don't have the time, which is why programs like ours are so important because it gives a parent an extra set of eyes, an extra resource, and a chance to have a conversation with them as the adult, but also the student of, hey, this is why this pathway might be important. Or if you think college is not for you, but you want to go into welding, well, what does that look like with the new SB2 bill? What does that look like with the new, some of the new career tech programs or dual enrollment? How will all that fit so that you can go meet your goals? And that's so important to start having those conversations a lot earlier than we do because high
Mm-hmm.
school counselors have anywhere from 400 to 600 students on their caseload at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So a school might have 5 or 6 counselors, depending on how big the school is, or 2 or 3 if they're smaller. But at some point, they don't have that time to give an hour to every kid
Right.
multiple times
Kind
throughout.
of like when we go to see our doctors, right?
Right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say if they have 400 to 500 students to see per counselor, I think the child will be lucky to get 15 to 20 minutes out of
Well,
out of
here's the bad part about that. It's funny you mentioned the time. Most counselors meet with students in a whole group setting
it.
to talk about, hey, this is what it means to select courses. If you're a freshman, these are the things you can go into. If you're an eighth grader, these are the things you can go into as a freshman and explore as intro electives, things like that. The rest of the time that a student is often in school, they might have one 30-minute meeting their fall of their junior year,
Mm,
really to make sure that they're on track for graduation. Counselors aren't meeting with students
mm-hmm.
on a
Right.
consistent basis. They have so many other responsibilities that sometimes the classroom teacher, the homeroom teacher, as they call it, for advisory or whatever schools call it, is the one who winds up doing that. That may or may not be properly trained in how to help a student select courses, in how to, we're given a script to read, and you better hope that the kids don't have questions. Whereas some of us, like myself, like your tutor Nicole, who did the college essay and college prep kind of planning, she and I worked together. There are some of us who have all been, not only do we work here together with you, we also literally work together. Um, so not only does it mean, there are some of us who, because we're passionate about really helping the kid get where they need to be and help them meet their goals, we take the time to have those conversations. We have gone through other trainings and asked the questions so that we can be that extra resource. And
Hmm.
it's so important to start so early and often. It's
Yeah.
no different than having conversations about religious beliefs or puberty or anything else that you think is important to discuss with your child. Why aren't we discussing this? We
Hmm.
should be.
I hate to say there's a lot of secrets in the school system.
I don't know that I want to call it secrets as much as I would call it what
Just
you
not
don't
enough
know
time.
won't hurt you.
Yeah.
In
If
the
you're
sense,
not if you're not asking the key questions or kind of like right there
no
in
one's going
front
to
of
be handing this information out
them.
if
Hmm.
you don't go looking for it.
It's not like it's
You
on
know?
a brochure, a pamphlet, on a
Right.
PowerPoint, in a presentation. Really, like you said, they're gonna when they present, they probably pretty much present, generally speaking.
They present general. You need 4 English in the state of Georgia. You need 4 math, 3 social studies, yada, yada,
Mhm,
yada. They don't present, okay, well, you know, little Jimmy, you need this. You struggle in math. So we're going to go this path for math, but you're really good at English and social studies. So we're going to do these types of classes here. You say you want to go into, you really like music. We've got a music industry class. What are you going to, let's look at taking
mhm,
those. Those conversations don't happen
mhm,
unless you have a teacher who teaches one of those cool classes or one that just takes you under their wing and is willing to do it with you. And not all teachers will do that because a lot of them don't know. They
and
just
you
don't know.
made a point about, well, ours is more customized, basically based
Mhm.
on what you just said. So we look at the child's interests and what do they really want to do, and what are they good at. Are they good at the math? Are they better at the sciences? Are they better in language arts? And they just got to get through the math, and they do not plan on doing anything related to any type of a math career, STEM career. So we look at all of that, parents, so that we can really see your entire child and see really what's the best for them. So hopefully when they go to college and they choose their college, they're not going, oh, I don't think I do want to do this degree program now. But there's still time. If we're doing it in middle school, there's time for us to adjust the plan. Just like Erica said, the child that she worked with, the eighth grader, they're not sure he'll be able to keep up the AP track later on because maybe he wants to go into football. Maybe he'll be the star quarterback. Who knows? Or whatever it is he wants to do. So that can be adjusted. So we will adjust them yearly, every couple years if you want. We're going to be around here, so we're not leaving. You can find us. So definitely middle school is important. That is not being said in middle school. But the fact that we just did the sixth grader and we're like really surprised that he's sitting in on level classes when he really should be gifted. And there's reasons for why he didn't get in. But the more he worked with me or anybody on my team, he's working actually with another tutor as well, then the better he's become already in like a month and a half that we've worked with
And that just goes back to consistency and communication
him.
because he's getting consistent access to these things that are challenging him. And he's realizing, oh, this could do this. Or but the same thing happens with the consistency in tutoring. Because if you're consistent with that, we can then help scaffold your kid from being in an on level English or an on level math to going to honors to then being ready to take the challenge of AP by the time they get there. It's a progression. And it's okay to ramp up, it's okay to ramp down depending on need or situation, but it's something that you have to be willing to revisit and adjust as
Mm-hmm.
needed.
Yep. And so, folks, that's why we're here. We're here to offer this to you. That's why we want to start talking about it more and more. There's a podcast on this as well. If you go to my website on dynamislearningacademy.com and go to podcast at the top, you'll find this, where Erica and I did a whole podcast for about 30 minutes on this topic. There's also a blog, and I will be actually putting up some more things on my website related to all these things related to college, anything that leads you toward college, including this course selection, academic planning. So thank you very much, Erica, for your time. I'm just offering for anybody who is wanting to know more about this, what we just discussed, you can reach out to me. My information is down below. And there's my that's my business line number. You can text me there or email info@dynamislearningacademy.com. Thank you very much again, Erica, and everyone. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.
Have a good one.